Stellar Life, mission log number 214.
Pull up your videos, pull up your photos, and sit in a place you call sacred in your home. Light a candle, turn the lights low, turn the music on if it helps you, turn the music off if it's distracting to you. Like, find your space. It's so unique. Every single person has a different way to get comfortable within themselves. Find what that looks like to you, and then go through these images. And when something really pulls fun, good, beautiful emotions out of you, that's something that belongs on your vision board.
Welcome to Stellar Life Podcast. Get inspired and live out loud. From love, freedom, and success to having it all. Here's your host, coach, speaker, and shining star, Orion.
Roger, you're looking good.
Hey, welcome to Stellar Life Podcast. This is your host, Orion. This episode is very, very important to your health, to your mental health, and also to your physical health. My guest is a very smart woman, a very smart doctor, and a super achiever. She will teach you what supplements to take in these times, how to strengthen your immune system, and also what to do to strengthen your mind. If your mind is racing, if you have anxiety, life is hard these days, and we need all the help that we can get. So please stay tuned because this episode will make your day. Dr. Varshini Soobiah specializes in integrative medicine protocols for disease management and disease prevention. Varshini spent 4 years in the stem cell and neurosurgery research department at Cedars Sinai Medical Institute, investigating adaptive immunity and age-related immune dysfunction related to disease and the central nervous system. What's also really fascinating to me is that she was raised in a temple and studied the Hindu scriptures since the age of 5 and practiced many different forms of meditation. She also teaches meditation to strengthen core energy and treat pain, mental, emotional, and physical disease in the body. Varshini's passion is healing and helping you harness positive energy, embrace balance, vitality, and inner strength. And we all need all of this these days. I really enjoyed this episode. It made my day. You know, we are bombarded with so much stressful information. So this episode will actually hold you and will make you feel better about this reality and how to handle it and how to handle all the stress that you have so you can thrive regardless of whatever is going on around you. And now, without further ado, on to the show.
2, 1, 0.
Hey, Dr. Varshini, and welcome to Stellar Life Podcast. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. You're in beautiful Bali right now.
I am.
How did you get there?
On the last flight that left America for Indonesia. Actually,
Oh my God. Wow.
4 hours after I left, they shut flights to Indonesia down. So I just caught that last one. I'm so grateful.
Oh, wow. And so we had a conversation before we started this recording, and you shared that it was an intuitive moment and you just decided that you needed to go there in order to serve on a highest level.
Yeah, I just felt I'm a research scientist in neurosurgery and stem cell. And so there's a bunch of people throughout the years of research that are scientists that are into different studies of medicine and different studies of frequencies, I guess is the best word to use. Mm-hmm. And the conversations that were happening and the questions that were left unanswered had me feeling uneasy. Having worked at Cedars Sinai and being in conversations with team members there and with my patients who had gone to Cedars Sinai, which is, you know, beautiful, wonderful, competent hospital in Beverly Hills. And they're an incredible facility, both for research and for treatment. And there were a bunch of head scratching situations of why can't we get tested? Why can't we be treated? And there were a bunch of things that were so outside of protocol that it was very confusing to me about what was happening. And I just didn't understand where things were going. And I just wanted to escape, to be honest. Yeah. I just wanted to take a moment to make sure that I could be in a space where I've really evolved my practice to doing FaceTime sessions with my patients, and I can do that from anywhere. Mm-hmm. So having the ability to be mobile, and I thought, well, where would I want to be if I could just escape everything for a little bit and be quarantined, but be okay being quarantined. I took a year off of work and I traveled around the world. And when I was in Bali and Mauritius, they were the two places that I could truly, truly escape news, media, energies that were not my own, that I'm affected by, as I tune into the energy of the people around me.
Mm-hmm.
And living in LA, sometimes that's such a blessing. And sometimes it can be quite a challenge. So it was building to be more of a challenge than a blessing at that moment. And I thought, where I can be in complete control and do my own thing and be quarantined and still enjoy it would probably be Bali. So that's why I jumped on the plane and thought, that's where I'm going to go.
That's pretty awesome. So in your everyday practice before this coronavirus situation started, what do you specialize in? What do you help people with?
Integrative medicine in clinical practice. I specialized in central nervous system disorders, so treating neck up problems. As a microbiologist in research, I focus on the microbiome, the gut, and health with the brain-gut connection, because anytime you want to treat the brain, you've got to calm down and heal the gut. And that's really important. So I custom make probiotics for my patients based on deficiencies in their microbiome. And that's a practice that's very ancient. It's a 10,000-year-old Ayurvedic practice that I learned when I was in medical school in India.
Wow.
And coupled with the research that I've done in neurosurgery, it's really enhanced the understanding and the target of creating balance in the body and in the mind. From the training I've had being raised Hindu in a temple with very conscious parents and grandparents about health and wellness and spiritual understanding and the spiritual practices, it just sort of infused to create Quantum Clinic. So it's a mind, body, and spirit, but an integrative medicine practice. But I specialize in central nervous systems.
Beautiful. So our intention for this episode is to help someone heal, to give really potent and helpful information on how you can keep your body in top shape, what kind of supplements can really improve and boost your immune system. And of course, the most important thing is the mindset. It just seems like everybody's going through such difficult times, and we all have our good days and our bad days, but this is such an incredible time of so much uncertainty, and it is scary. It is scary to watch the news. It is scary to want to protect your family and your own health. So this is going to be almost like a chill pill that can help you feel better and also be prepared and boost your immune system.
Right. Absolutely. To touch base on what you just said, there's a few points that you made that are really important. So yes, we're going to address what can you do to prevent and increase the odds of you not being affected by these flu-like symptoms. They're calling it coronavirus. But I think in a time of stress, which this has created a lot of stress, it is the most challenging thing to your immune system is to be under stress conditions. And so the forced quarantine, the finances, the challenges that people are faced with their finances.
Homeschooling.
Homeschooling. That's a whole other one. In respect of all the challenges that have been created by this quarantine, there's a lot more that we have to do to play the role of prevention to support our immune system. So it's not just what we take in the form of supplements, which are very important right now. It's also what are we doing to hack our own brains, our own minds, our daily conversations that we're having with ourselves and the conversations that we're having with other people. I want for everyone to really pay attention because now is the time. This quarantine is an opportunity to reboot, reset, and reinvent yourself. And so we should take this as a blessing and focus on that more so than the challenge.
Yeah, I just saw a viral video. There is this older guy from Israel, and he's a Zionist, and he was in jail for about 9 years. And sometimes in the very secure jail when you are just alone in a little cell, I forgot the name of it. And he was completely isolated for a very long time. And he gave 5 tips on how to deal with isolation. One was, when you think about how long you're going to be in your home, don't expect it to be 2 weeks or 4 weeks or, in 6 weeks, it's going to end, because then you can get disappointed. Don't put a deadline on it so you won't be disappointed. And another thing that he said, it was get a hobby. He's a great chess player. He did not have a chessboard, but when he was alone in his little cell in the dark, he used to play chess in his mind. And one more thing that he said, you have to remind yourself of the reason why you're there. You are here to protect yourself. You are here at home to protect others and to help. We are actually helping each other as a community to heal this thing while staying at home.
Right. And the more seriously that we take it as a collective, the shorter the length of time if this incubation phase will be.
Yeah, I'm on this chat with other moms, and some of them did not take it seriously up until now. And I was, I was not the cool kid on the block because I was like, be careful, stay at home, no play dates. And they were like, we're moms, we know what's good for our children. And now they're realizing that there is more to what I said than they thought, unfortunately. But yeah, people need to take it seriously.
Absolutely. Now's the time.
So as far as mindset, what will be some of your most important tips?
I think just understanding that we are so much more our feelings than we are anything else. That, in science, we're very pragmatic about looking at the molecules of, well, if there's an infection, it's because there's this many pathogens and there's not enough immune response. There's not enough immune cells. There's not enough T cells. There's not enough dendritic cells. And we're very mathematical sometimes in one aspect of looking at disease and dis-ease in the body. But right now, what we need to look at is the impact of our emotions. So if you wake up and you turn the news on right away, whoa, not a good idea. You're going to set yourself up for a real self-destructive day. If you wake up and you think, okay, I'm going to jump onto, I use an app called the 5-Minute Journal, and it's a gratitude app, literally. It gives you a section for listing off 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you're going to do to have a good day, and you can post a picture on there. And I love it because the picture that I post every day, it creates this visual collage, and I play those stakes pretty high. Oprah Winfrey said, do 5 gratitudes. So on the 3rd line, I add the number 4 and I add another gratitude, and I add the number 5 and I put another gratitude. So I do 5. And then I reflect back on it. And I look at it. For example, if I say, I'm really grateful for my mom. I've been very close to my mom since all of this has been going on because she's 74 right now. And
yeah, my mom too.
Oh, okay, good.
And she's far away too. She's in Israel and I'm here, and that's quite stressful.
Yeah, my mom's in Canada and I'm in Bali. And she is so fun and so funny. And she's down for a laugh and she's down for a new adventure. And she's just this real bubbly personality. And I know that in times like this, and telling her to stay home, and she's a hot foot. They call it people who are busy bees and they're everywhere. They go everywhere. They do everything. She's the best grandma. She's the best mom. She runs the temple and she does so much community service activity. And she's a real live wire. And I know that this can be really challenging for her, taking her car keys away and saying, sit. It's a tough one for a woman like my mom. So I've been in a lot of talks and conversations with her. And it's really interesting hearing her and talking to her about what she's doing. She's not really doing much. So the most important thing is to check in with the people that you love. My family, we have chat threads and we send a lot of jokes. My sister's got a real good funny bone in her and she sends a lot of jokes that crack me up. And that's really helpful. So engaging with the people that are so close to you and finding ways to make them laugh, finding ways to entertain them. My mom is very interesting and very well educated. So if I send her a video on something to listen to that's a lecture, she'll do it. And she'll open up a conversation about it. So I think right now it's important to find your tribe, be that your family, be that your friends, whoever it is, create and assign them and tell them, you're my tribe. I love you. I care about you. Let's figure out 3 things that we really want to engage in. I'll bring you 3 ideas and you bring me 3 ideas, and really start to build conversations and content that you can share and engage in and discuss, like little study groups or little laughing groups. I have a group called My Girls in WhatsApp, and it's the people that I love the most. And we chat all day, and it's lighthearted. It's important, serious stuff, but it's stuff that we as a collective are really interested in. So it's a way that I can always know. I know there's certain people in my life that will always send me the news. Some of them are scientists. Some of them are doctors. Some of them are my friends. Some of them are gossipers. But they send me the stuff that I really need to not miss in a day. So I don't have to be glued to the TV. I don't have to watch the news. I just can check certain communications and know that I've been caught up. And those are important. So that kind of saves me from tuning in and starting a rough day with the news. The news is really difficult. And in America, I'm from South Africa, and in South Africa, there's like 2 news channels, and they report what's important, what you need to know. But in America, it feels like 100 news channels, and it's 24/7 on, and they're constantly feeding you. And I've fallen into this problem where I felt like I can't not watch the news because I'm going to miss something really important. So what I did is I stopped. I literally turned my cable off, and I downloaded a couple of apps, and I put notifications on, and I never go into the app unless I see a notification of something that I know I need to know about. Then I go into the article. And that's all I need to know. It's just the article. I don't want to know the whole partisan conversations. I don't need to know too much about politics. I need to know the facts. So that's a good hack, is to tune out a lot.
Yeah, and it's so difficult because it's very addictive. You want to know what happens, and you want to know, even on, I belong to a few groups, you want to know what this person said and what this person thinks. And it's also partly because of the need to connect. So sometimes you get stuff that you want, and sometimes you get stuff that I wish I didn't read that.
So I had that problem as well. And what I did is I pulled out of all these different chat threads, and I created my own chat thread. Like I said, I call it, my favorite is called My Girls. And they're my favorite girls from my whole life. And what I say to them is, I started the chat then, and I said to them, you guys are my favorite people. I love you so much. So many of you are so smart and so funny. And that's how I want to engage here. So let's share what's really going on that's important for us to share, and let's share funny things. And that's all we do in that chat thread. And I love it. So you don't always have to subscribe to what people want you. You don't always have to give people what they're trying to take from you, but be conscious of these relationships. And if they're important relationships, have that sit down conversation with them, or just over the phone, FaceTime them, and just say, look, I love you, but I really don't like the tone of our conversations lately. I know you're scared. I have moments where I feel afraid, but I know you love funny animal videos. I know you love music. Why don't we promise each other once a day or 3 times a day that we'll chime in related to the ways we want to interact and what will really empower us to get through this time?
Yeah. One thing I'm sending my mom every day is little videos of her grandchild.
Oh, sweet. Your baby is so cute, too. She must love that.
Yeah. She said, oh, please send those. It really makes me happy. She's older and she's alone at home, and she feels very, very isolated. And she's that type of person that she likes to go out. It's hard for her to stay at home. And so I try to cheer her up, and I call her twice a day just to make sure we are staying connected. And
that's really good.
Yeah.
And this whole thing about our moms who are similar, who like to get out of the house, it's very poetic for me. Like, as a doctor, the parallel I see with certain patients, because I studied and practiced Ayurvedic medicine, and the integrative medicine is working out of America and understanding the science and integrating that more into the practice. But it's very important to, as an Ayurvedic doctor, you're trained to listen to your patients, most especially to what they're not saying and what they're not identifying, because that's what we're here for, is to show you your shadow, is to understand what you're not eating and what you're not saying as part of your medicine.
Right. Wow, that's powerful.
And guiding people into that. And so the poetic thing about what's happening right now is most people who are hotfoots and are running around from place to place and thing to thing, it's escapism. They're escaping something, either their own feelings, their own thoughts, conversations they just don't want to have. And in that escapism, it's like the spiritual good part, the blessing of this time of quarantine, is to really face those conversations and face those things. Take inventory. How am I feeling every day? How do I feel when I get off the phone with person A? How do I feel when I get off the phone with person B and person C? How do I feel after I've hung out with person A, B, and C? And then take your way all the way through Z, the letter Z, your whole alphabet of people that you interact with. Now's the time to take inventory. Who's wearing a good hat and who's wearing a bad hat? And distance yourself emotionally, spiritually, and physically from those people. You clearly can now physically, but in every other way. Or if it's an important relationship like a family member, have a conversation about what you really enjoy doing with them and just stick to that and make some healthy and clear boundaries with those people. I've had to do that so many times that I got so comfortable with that, because it was very uncomfortable for me and I couldn't quite figure it out. And eventually I did. And it was in a really loving conversation over lunch or over a phone call to say, hey, you know what? I've been really swamped emotionally and with work, the hours that I'm clocking in. And every time I get on the phone with you, it seems to gear into a negative space where I feel even more drained. I couldn't even believe I had anything left to give. And I gave you that last drop that I needed to get settled in my personal life before going to bed and calling it done. And I need that little bit that I have. And I feel like when we get on the phone, you're pulling everything left in me. And I don't like that feeling. So now I've been avoiding your calls. I've been avoiding responding to your messages, etc. And I don't want to do that because I love you and I want to interact with you. So here's what I'm going to say. And this worked for me. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give us a code word. I'm going to make an agreement with you. The common thing amongst people is that we know where we disagree, but we don't really know where we agree. And so if we turn our arguments or our grievances with each other into agreements, it's a huge psychological shift and we build great affinity with that person. So what I say is I'm going to use the word care. So when negative Nancy calls me and they're saying something negative and they're spinning out and they're pulling on me like a parasite, the last bit of energy I have, I say, care. Remember our agreement? And this is that moment because a lot of these things that happen, these conversations, these bad conversations, it's an unconscious reactivity that's happening for that person. It's just a habit of how they are moving in their life. They're moving with a lot of negativity. And so to pull them back to the Jedi Masters, they just need that code word. They just need that agreement with someone who loves them and cares for them to remind them, oh, you know what? You're slipping into that rabbit hole again. Let's get out of there. Let's go to these beautiful pastures. Let's go towards this rainforest of a conversation. And so when you get conscious, you have to raise the bar for the people around you. And that's the best service you can do as a healer. You don't even need a label for it. Just as a good person, doing that for your friends and family. And so I don't need to do that with my mom. She's a breath of joy. But there are people in my life that I have to do that with. And I only had to do it with them for maybe 3 months. And then we just start dancing a whole new dance that I enjoy.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm going through RTT training right now. It's a Rapid Transformation Therapy by Marissa Peer. And the premise of it is to, in 1 to 3 sessions, to quickly heal past trauma. It's almost like neurolinguistic programming and hypnosis on steroids. Okay. And it's super powerful. And one of the things that Marissa said about this situation is that you must change the pictures in your mind, because we can sit at home and spiral down and just seeing all those very horrible pictures of what can happen to us, to our loved ones, to the planet. Or we can change the picture to where we want to be after this thing ends.
So let me interject, because that is so important what you said. So where are we getting those pictures from that are stuck in our minds when we're sitting to have a good moment of meditation? We're getting it from the news. So this is where this is why I tuned out of cable and I tuned into the apps and only looking at the notifications.
Not only the news, we linked back to all the post-apocalyptic movies we've seen our whole lives.
Okay, true. But where do we change those thoughts? Is vision boards, the things we choose to subscribe to. When I meditate, I'm very visual. I close my eyes and I go into this universe that I've created where it's so beautiful. Everybody's so happy and so healthy. All their needs are met. They have everything that they want. And they're just having so much joy. And it's such an important place that to me, I spend more time in these days than this reality. I mean, Bali is really easy for me to look around and see the happy people. Everybody's praying. I'm in Ubud, which is the most religious part. It's very Hindu. And the city literally shuts down at 9. People don't really drink. It's a very religious oriented area. So for me, this is a good lane. But when I'm in LA, I have a great time with the people that I interact with. They're really fun and good people. But if I tune too much into the news, I'm having too many bad pictures. And what you're talking about with RTT is creating good images. So I have vision boards. I have virtual vision boards that are in my phone, in my iPhotos of different things. My vision board for friendships, my vision board for my personal care, my vision board for my career, my vision board for family, wanting to get married and wanting to have children.
You know, I love vision boards. I did a vision board before I had my baby. And you probably don't know my story, but they gave me only 5% chance to conceive. And it was a very long journey. And it took a lot of effort, mentally, spiritually, physically. But that vision board I just believe in vision boards so much. And also before I met my husband, I did a vision board. So I so believe in vision boards.
Me too.
And on orionsmethod.com, there are 2 articles about vision boards if somebody want to check it out. This is my website, and this is where stellarlifepodcast.com is on that website too. And with vision board, what's really important is to do what you're doing, is to look at the vision board for inspiration, but also make it real and vivid and potent in your mind, and see it in color and see it as a movie of what you want to have. You want to really see it, not only on paper, but bring it to life in your own mind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And how you do that is by spending more time focused on, you don't just look at a picture. Like, I don't just look at a picture. When I look at my vision board, it's a collage of images that emote a lot of emotions from me. So I will have pictures of delicious, nutritious foods. I will have pictures of me doing yoga, or people who have bodies that inspire me doing yoga. I will have pictures of travel. I will have pictures of people laughing. I love to laugh. I love comedy. And I'll have all these important things that are meaningful, that represent the life I want to have. And when I look at those pictures, I think about the times that I've engaged like that, or the things that I find really delicious, the foods, the fruit. Like, I literally visualize my food and my diet and my nutrition, and I try to create that in my kitchen. So I have a whole psychology of how to eat, because I'm very emotional about food. So I'm particular. So I love to cook, and I like to be in my own kitchen, because I can put together the things that are just perfect for me.
One day I'm going to come visit you.
Yeah.
And we're going to cook together.
I love that. I love that. We'll have a great time. We will, especially because where are you from?
Israel.
You're from Israel. I love Israeli food. That crispy rice at the bottom of the pot is my favorite. And I'm Indian. And so we can put together and hodgepodge and mix match and do some great fusions in my kitchen. You and I. We'll do that. That's a date.
Amazing. Amazing.
And so this vision board totally changes the way that I'm feeling. So if I'm upset about something, one of my patients isn't doing well, who's in chemotherapy or had a bad diagnosis, or an MRI came back and something's, a new patient. And just, I feel for my patients, I really connect to them and the journey and the plight of getting well. And it's why I'm so focused on not just being a doctor of the physical body, but really looking at the emotional and spiritual component. I teach free meditation out of my clinic. I teach meditation via FaceTime one-on-ones around the world. So there's a lot of ways that I intervene to help them. And this whole vision board is so important for them, because if you get a grim diagnosis, or you're dealing with a really challenging time like a quarantine, you need to tune into a place that is your paradise, and you need to create that. I'm grateful that I've built those muscles around it. So in a heartbeat, I can be in my own inner paradise. But it took time to build that. Pictures, emotions, shifting things. This quarantine, I am living the vision board of where I would want to be currently, because I've learned so quickly and over the years how to create that now it's like, well, I've got to drop into that reality, which is why I jumped on the plane. But if I wasn't here, I'd be sitting at home focusing on all the different places that I have been, and tuning in, looking at the videos, looking at the pictures, and remembering all the beautiful people and family members that loved me, and we had fun times, and I would be relishing in those. So now's the time to do that. Pull up your videos, pull up your photos, and sit in a place you call sacred in your home. Light a candle, turn the lights low, turn the music on if it helps you, turn the music off if it's distracting to you. Like, find your space. It's so unique. Every single person has a different way to get comfortable within themselves. Find what that looks like to you, and then go through these images. And when something really pulls fun, good, beautiful emotions out of you, that's something that belongs on your vision board.
That is so freaking powerful. I like, this is amazing. So I was listening to a little bit of a recording from one of my Kabbalah teachers, David Guillaume, and what he said is that you want to create in your mind certainty beyond logic, because we live in a magical universe and we can manifest different things and different realities. I believe in multiple dimensions, multiple realities. I believe that we can exchange versions of ourselves, even from a version of a sick person to a version of a very healthy person, if we tap into this magical universe and we have that certainty beyond logic. When I wanted to conceive, I worked on having that certainty beyond logic, because logically it would never have happened. And especially at times like that, this is the time to get certain and, I guess, connect to faith to God, higher power, and believe that the universe is working for you.
I'm going to jump into a little bit of neuroscience around what you're saying to support what you're saying. There's a part of the brain called the limbic system. It's embedded in the amygdala anatomically, right? In that part of your brain. And it's the part of your brain where if I tell you, I'm coming over and we're going to have a cup of tea, and I walk into your home and you're baking brownies, my mouth will immediately start to salivate. But I didn't eat any brownies. I just smelled it. And my olfactory nerve told my brain, that told my stomach, oh my gosh, she's baked brownies for us. We should get ready to digest that. And my mouth starts to salivate. So what I'm saying is our thoughts create physical reactions in our body. On the negative side of it, imagine if a woman was in a horrible car accident with her husband and he passed away in her arms. Really tragic. A year later, she's crossing the street with her 5-year-old grandson, and there was a tiny, small bumper-to-bumper accident. Nobody was injured, but it triggered her physical reaction to have a stroke from the trauma that she relived, which we hold our trauma at a cellular level. So we're getting into this like whole other practice of like understanding of science and neuroscience. But what you're saying is when you decided the science was stacked against you and you decided to change the way your body responded to the thoughts and the ideas and your belief system, you were able to have your body do something superhuman that you were told it couldn't do.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff. And that's what we're talking about today. It's about taking control of your monkey mind and having your mind and your body and your spirit be exactly as you want for it to be. We are able to do that. We are in control. And it's not magic. It's a practice of understanding of who you really are.
Yeah. And for me, I also see it as a co-creation. It's not only me. I believe that there is a higher force that was co-creating with me. Almost like the universe is testing how certain you are at some points in your life.
Yeah, it's a bold move. Well done, you.
No, thank you. We've all done that. We've all done that. We've all done things. That's why this is important. Each and every one of us, you, me, anyone that is listening right now, we all did stuff in life that we never imagined possible. And we achieved things that are unimaginable. And we beat the odds in certain things. So if you go back to your life and you look at all those points in time where you've been told you can't do this and you did, or you got the things that you never imagined you can have, these things are because you are a great manifester. And even in this time of chaos, like you said, thoughts become things. Thoughts become hormones and they affect your body. So especially in this time, you want to have that certainty beyond logic so you can manifest what you want in your life. Right. Especially in this time.
Right.
And so this is all good and great. And what if somebody is listening to us right now and is like, oh, these girls, they got it. They are so certain. They're awesome. And they're experiencing fear and anxiety. And I just want to say, the fact that I sound certain right now does not mean that I did not experience a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety around this whole thing. Didn't mean that I didn't cry. Didn't mean that as a mother, I was super afraid for my loved ones. Or as a daughter, I was super afraid for my loved ones. Those feelings, they're so natural. And there is anxiety in the air. And like you, I'm very empathic. So I kind of like receive the collective consciousness and I tap into that. And it's hard. This is a very difficult time to be on the planet, especially when you look at the news and you hear about everything that is going on. So feelings are valid. And I felt those feelings too. But every time I feel those feelings, what I do is I try to reach for a better thought or call a friend or talk to my husband or talk to my mom or my sister. Like there was one night where I couldn't fall asleep and I called my sister and she calmed me down.
Yeah, I've had those moments too. And you know what I do? I call it the gratitude game. And I have 3 people that I can call in different parts of the world. So I always hit the right time zone. And I call them and I say, okay, I need it. I'm having a real poop day and we got to play the gratitude game. And it goes like this. They'll start and they'll say, okay, well, I'm grateful for whatever it may be that they're grateful for, maybe their child or maybe their spouse. I'm grateful for that person. And we don't just play small, we play big so I'm grateful for my husband because he makes me smile from the depths of my soul. Great. And then it's my turn. And I'll say, okay, well, and I'm probably going to struggle with this because I'm not in a good space because I'm in my fear. I'm in my guck, my stuff. And so I'm probably not thinking so clearly about all the blessings that are happening in my life. And this game helps you pull yourself out of the mud and wash yourself off. So I'll say, well, I'm grateful for my dragon. I think about what's in my home. I've got this little bearded dragon that runs around like a puppy around the house, and she's really cute. And we just have this interesting bond. And so, she cuddles me. It's interesting because you wouldn't imagine this little reptile could, but she does.
Oh, wow.
And so I'll say, well, I'm really grateful for Tiger Lily. I'm grateful for her because she reminds me to be calm and to get still, and that it's a beautiful thing to do because it's beautiful to do it with her. And so then it's her turn, and she may say, well, I'm grateful that it's a really beautiful sunny day where she may be in the world. And then it's my turn, and I'll say, yeah, I'm really grateful for the patients that I'm working with right now. I learn and I heal personally from guiding them to their wellness. And I'm really grateful that this is the line of work that I'm in. And it just pulls me into, so it's not just saying, I'm grateful for my dog, I'm grateful for my cat, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my car. No, that's not playing the gratitude game. Playing the gratitude game is identifying it and really thinking thoughtfully about what is it about that thing or that person that brings me pure joy.
I like that. That's next level.
Yeah, it's so simple and it's cheap too. It's a phone call away.
Yeah.
But you have to engage with people. So here's the thing is I think the underlying common denominator of all these conversations we've had thus far is we have to be more conscious and aware and have these conversations with important people in our lives to say, this is who we are. This is what we're going to agree to. If you're in a relationship that's pretty volatile, it's okay. It can be healed. It can repair. I do marriage counseling and family counseling and crisis counseling, and I've worked with suicidal patients, and all of the work that I've done has amassed me to understand that the worst case scenario can heal. And the changes and the inspiration I've had from my patients have brought me to my knees and brought me to tears of gratitude that it's not me. It's not that I'm a great doctor. It's not that. It's that I listen to what they're saying and what they're not saying. And then we open up conversations, and then we make agreements about what we're going to do as a team to get through it. And then I hold them accountable, and I hold myself accountable to contribute. And every patient has a different protocol because every patient has a different prognosis and a diagnosis. So I don't have any blanket protocols. The one I wrote for, you and I were introduced through the metal group. The one I wrote for the metal is a completely different protocol than I've written for any other patient. Every patient gets their own custom protocol written because they're so unique in who they are, what they've been through, and where they want to go. And so if we start looking at every relationship as a protocol, where have we been, where are we, and where do we want to go? And we start having conversations about where do we want to go. Let's make agreements around it. We always know where we don't agree because we fight about that. So how do you let go of arguments and the fighting and the rough part or the not good part of our relationships is in assessing it and saying, I really love when we do X, Y, Z. I really love when we talk about X, Y, Z. Or get to know yourself to have that conversation outside of yourself. So who are you? Where have you been? Where are you and where do you want to go? Now is a great time to contemplate that in this quarantine.
Right.
Where do you need to improve and start working on that? Who can help you? Who else is like that, deficient in that way? That you two can make yourselves accountability partners and work together to improve. It's a great opportunity.
It is. It's beautiful. And I want to also, you have so much knowledge around supplements. You're so good.
Thank you.
When I listened to your presentation, I was so impressed. Let's just I know everybody has their own individual protocol that will help them, but overall to boost the immune system so our bodies can, on the physical plane, can deal better with the COVID-19 and everything that's going on.
Right.
What do we absolutely must take?
Okay. I'm not going to go too deep into each one, but I'm going to hit a broad overview of what's really important and primary to focus on. So sleep is the most sacred thing. because you want the car of your body, the machine of your body, you want it to function properly. It does that when you sleep. When you sleep, that's what repairs and boosts your immune system. So sleep is very sacred. So if everybody can choose a time that they're going to shut it down and be loyal to that time that they're going to shut it down and go to sleep, that is really important.
I don't like this tip, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'm a new mom, and I don't sleep much.
Okay.
And I can't sleep much.
But you're in a specific category if it's a new mom. So in respect of that, what you would do is you and your husband would have an agreement about sleeping schedules. So there has to be a 4-hour time block, hopefully 6-hour time frame, that you two say, it's my time, it's your time. And so you two need to work that out.
It's kind of hard because I'm nursing. I'm breastfeeding.
Got it.
And he's teething and he's crying throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
So he cries throughout the day, cries throughout the night. I don't know. He's in a lot of pain. So I don't remember the last time I got more than 3-4 hours straight.
Fair enough. And that makes sense because you're breastfeeding.
Yeah, I'll wake up every an hour, every 2 hours. Sometimes I'll have a gap where I'll just be completely awake, and I'll get a total of maybe 5 hours, 6 hours a night.
Right. Look, motherhood at your phase is not easy. It's just there's no answers. There's nothing. There's no pro tips that I can give you to make this where you're going to get 8 hours of sleep. There isn't. It's just not your reality right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? Is you try your best to have those naps when he's napping, and you do your best to be as present as you can. And it's a time that, interestingly enough, your body has been designed to produce certain hormones that will help you cope. And it will be frustrating. It'll be difficult, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, you using pranayama, different breathing techniques to help you stay in a relaxed state while you're breastfeeding that will help your mind calm down and help incite a better immune response. That's another way that you can do it. So you're awake, you're breastfeeding, but you're using that time when baby is clutched to focus on your own immune support.
That sounds really good. Okay, now I like this tip.
Okay, but for those who are not breastfeeding and don't have a sweet little baby like you do at home, sleep is sacred. So going to sleep at a certain time, and I like to go to bed. So when I say go to bed, I mean shut it down, off technology, lay in bed. You can be on technology if you have the night feature. That's fine. But I try to engage in only fun and happy things at nighttime. I will not watch the news. I will not keep up to date with the drama and the traumas of business, etc. I try to do fun, lighthearted things, talk to people that I love, people that love me, and catch up on good things. So reading a good book, that's awesome if you like reading books. But I have to read professionally all day. So I don't want to get into bed and continue reading. I want to do something different. So that's where I tune into other things. I watch something funny, or I listen to something funny. I have Pandora, and I love Bill Burr, and I love different comedians, Dave Chappelle, and I actually listen to their comedy. Even though it's repetitive sometimes, I listen to their comedy and it makes me laugh and it puts me in a good space. So Russell Peters is hilarious. And there's still like old stuff that I haven't watched of his and listened to of his. Sometimes I'll put on YouTube, but I'm not looking at the screen. I'm just listening. So little hacks like that. But starts at 9 to 10 p.m. And I'm always asleep by 11. So sometimes I'm asleep at 9, depending on how my day's gone, or 10. But in that time frame from 9 to 11, that's my grace period of it's me time to shut it down, get serious about sleep, and be in bed and do those things. Now, if I'm in a point where I'm not in good health, or I've been traveling overseas and I'm dealing with a little bit of jet lag, there's other tools that I use, like pranayama, breathing exercises, meditation. I listen to binaural sounds. I'll listen to guided meditation, and I'll really focus on getting myself to be more sedentary at that time if I'm really active in those hours where I'm supposed to be sleeping. So maybe you and I will do another talk about sleep hacks.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll get more into that. Okay, so sleep is sacred. Next point, the gut-brain connection.
I like how focused you are.
Yeah. So the next point is the gut-brain connection. Eating good, nutritious foods is so important. It's so important right now, considering the stress factors. So if you don't know much about nutrition, get on YouTube. Whatever diet you are on or are not on that you've always aspired to be, it's time to research. Get on YouTube. You know what I do? Here's a hack as a researcher, is if I want to know what's the most important thing I need to know about, let's say keto, I'll type in understanding keto in the search panel on YouTube. And then I'll go into the filters and I'll say most view counts. And I'll look at, because we as a herd community, we We subscribe to what's really smart. And so if somebody's saying something that's really smart, they're going to get a lot of hits. It's going to be viewed several times. People are going to pay it forward, pass it on to people. And so they're going to have a lot of views. So I want to look at those first and hear what the main conversation is. And then I'll have questions. And then I'll start typing in more specificity of what I want to search and research. Okay, so start there. Look at good diets. Think about, I've always wanted to be a vegan, or I've always wanted to be a vegetarian, or I've always wanted to be a pescatarian, or I've always wanted to do keto, or they call it vegan keto. So figure out what you want to do, play with it, see how you can get through it. But no, knowledge is key. Study it really well right now. The gut-brain connection is sacred. If you can calm the gut and have the right diet that works for you, your brain will work optimally, which will help your sleep patterns. Next point, probiotics. If you don't know about probiotics and how incredibly fundamental they are to the building blocks of your immune system and to preventing disease in your body and to metabolizing the nutrients of the good food that you spend a lot of money on and pay a lot of time and attention to preparing delicious, nutritious foods for your family, learn about probiotics. Go onto YouTube and search probiotics. Go onto Chrome and search probiotics. Why are they good for me? What do I need to know? Fermented foods. Understand that, because if you can understand how they are your soldiers in the army that fights the good fight every day for you in every single way, mind, body, and spirit, fighting infections, preventing infections, there's nothing more important than probiotics. I have an excellent line of probiotics for Quantum Clinic, which over the years as a microbiologist and working with patients, I cannot custom make probiotics for the amount of patients in my roster right now. So I have one comprehensive formulation that is for the human microbiome that will sustain optimum immune system strength and emotional health and well-being for treating neurological conditions. It's being used in top facilities around the world, and the best doctors in health and wellness are using it in their clinics. And it's just that one-hit wonder. It just works phenomenally. When you have a really good probiotic that is really strong, mine is liquid. It's anaerobic bacteria that has not been dehydrated or dried out into capsules or freeze-dried. It's live, liquid. It goes in the body and it just plates beautifully.
Is it good for babies too?
It is good for babies, but we have to talk about dosing because babies take very small doses. And if somebody wanted to get into something like that, the specificity, get into something like that being incorporate supplements to their children, they do need to have a doctor review it with them because not everything in high amounts will be good for your child. Probiotics, yes, but in the right dose.
Right. And you had a tip of having apple cider vinegar to help the probiotics absorb better.
Yeah, that's because when you wake up, you're very acidic. And so I like to neutralize my pH before I take a really strong probiotic. I want my probiotics to be taken in the best environment opportunity. So I want to neutralize the acidity of my digestion by taking 2 apple cider vinegar capsules, which total 1,500 milligrams. There's lots of brands across.
Is that like a spoon or a teaspoon?
So I don't do the liquid.
Because of the enamel.
And it also, a lot of people, the amount, 1,500 milligrams in a capsule, the amount of liquid, I think is 2 to 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I don't like the taste of that sour vinegar. I really don't like it. And the amount of water I have to add to it to dilute it, I can't drink 24 ounces in a sitting just before I take my probiotics. So for me, I take the capsules and I drink 12 ounces of water in the form of tea, green tea. I add my fulvic minerals to it. I also have this Ayurvedic digestive tea of different herbs and spices that I blend together, and I simmer that for 10 minutes and make a pot, and I drink that throughout the day. But what I want to do, Orion, is I want to not get too advanced here.
I just want to be you for a day just to see everything.
Well, come hang out in my kitchen and I'll show you what I'm up to.
Oh my God.
But let's just keep this really simple. What's really simple is get good sleep. Have a good probiotic. Eat fermented foods if you don't have probiotics or if you want to keep the bill low and not spend too much money. You know, there's lots of do-it-yourself how to ferment and make kimchi and sauerkraut online. And if you don't like cabbage, you could do it with cauliflower and broccoli and carrot.
I have a cabbage. I should do that.
Yeah, you totally should do that. It's so simple. Vitamin D. You should be at minimum 5,000 international units a day. And I don't like popping pills, so I take 1 capsule of 50,000 IU a week.
Oh, okay. I take the drops and I take about 2 drops. So I take 8,000 every day.
Yeah, good.
Especially because I'm breastfeeding.
Yes, that's really important. And so that works for you. Everybody has to find what works for them. And as far as capsules, liquid, and how much is the right dose based on the blood work, their most recent blood work, look at their vitamin D levels. If their levels are low, before they start increasing the amount of vitamin D that they're taking, they need to get on probiotics, improve their metabolism of nutrients, because vitamin D absorbs in the gut and metabolizes in the gut. So a lot of nutrient deficiencies are problems in the gut. That's why probiotics are so important to build the integrity of your digestion.
Yeah, I started taking probiotics and enzymes, and I feel so much better now.
Good. And if people who are kind of against taking supplements want to look for whole food sources, we're talking about cod liver oil, fish, flaxseed oils. They contain vitamin D. So if you Google vitamin D rich foods, you're going to see peas and I think butter, eggs, certain cheeses have it, salmon. So find your diet first. Decide what your diet is, and then look at whole food sources of foods within your diet. Vitamin C, same thing. I love a whole food source of vitamin C, but right now, if you're going to supplement liposomal vitamin C, which is a lipid, a fat attached to the vitamin C, it improves metabolism and absorption of vitamin C.
I heard Dave Asprey talks about megadosing with vitamin C if somebody have the COVID-19. And he talked about taking between 8 to 15 milligrams. So it's about, so every milligram is 1,000 IU, I think you call it.
I think you mean gram.
Grams. Yes.
Yeah, gram.
Thank you
gram is 1,000 milligrams. All good.
Thank you for correcting me. And he said that when you take this higher dosages, you can take vitamin C that is based in fat because it's going to be too hard on your body. So you want to take the simpler version.
Yes, I would agree with that. Essential fatty acids are important to bring down the inflammation. So it depends on the formulation of the liposomal vitamin C. Okay. So what fat are they attaching to the vitamin C? Because again, I don't like taking supplements. So if I can take my essential fatty acid and vitamin C at the same time in one capsule, great. Taking 8 grams of vitamin C would be taking 16 capsules of liposomal vitamin C. And so if you're looking at the formulation of liposomal and it's an essential fatty acid from salmon or from flax seeds, you're fine to take it in liposomal formula. Because when you look at the gram intake of 8,000 milligrams of essential fatty acids in a day, you're bringing down the inflammation in your body. And you're also not taking 8 grams of vitamin C in one dose. He's probably telling you to sparsely have it throughout the day. So maybe 2,000 milligrams in the morning, 2,000 milligrams in the early afternoon, 2,000 milligrams in the late afternoon, and 2,000 milligrams in the evening. You can't take, 8 grams in one dose because that would thin your blood out too much. That would have other side effects that we don't need to get into. But it's just too much to take in one dose. You'd want to separate it and space it out in the day. So if you're doing it like that, then what does essential fatty acid do to our bodies? It brings down inflammation, it improves brain function and cardiovascular support.
And we're talking like this amount of vitamin C, again, just for the listeners, this is only if you're megadosing, if you do have the COVID-19.
I don't recommend it.
You don't?
I do not recommend 8 grams of vitamin C without doctor's guidance with that, because it needs to be decided which form of vitamin C you're using, when you're taking it, how you're taking it, what medications you're on, which it can have a reaction to. If you're on blood thinners already, that amount of vitamin C can thin your blood out again. And also, what about wound healing? What if it's a diabetic patient? What if they have an injury that they're healing? So there's loads of drug interactions. Supplements are not drugs, but when you take it in high doses, it becomes interpreted like a drug in the body. So I don't recommend, just if you feel like you're sick or you think you might have COVID, taking 8,000 milligrams, consult with a doctor. There's lots of online doctors. You can contact me via email. Don't just get on self-medicating. Don't do that. It's not safe. Just because you think innocently, well, vitamin C is in an orange, it must be safe to take. High levels like that, you need some doctor's guidance.
Okay. That's really, really important to know. Thank you. So on an everyday basis, how much should we take for our own health? 2,000?
1,000 is great if you're in good health. If you're not in good health and it's immune related, 1,000 in the morning, 1,000 before dinner.
And what about pregnant women? Can they take it, or breastfeeding?
Again, case to case. I'm not going to speak on that.
Case to case, stuck to your doctor.
Discuss it with their doctors.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And vitamin C sources, you get it from broccoli, red peppers, cabbage, kiwi, lime, bananas, blueberries, tomatoes, oranges, limes, lemons, garlic. Those are interesting. So what I want to do is I know that you know a bunch of what I just said, but maybe I said something that you didn't know is a source of vitamin C. Now's the time. We ain't got nothing but time in our hands. It's a blessing. Jump online, type in vitamin C rich foods. Look at where you're getting your sources of vitamin C. See your servings of that. How much are you getting? Supplement if you need to, but you don't have to power down on so many supplements. If you're having a really nutritious diet, you need to focus on probiotics and you need to focus on metabolism.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for clarifying that thing with the vitamin C. It's really, really important because
Yeah, you're welcome.
that's so important. So you were also talking about zinc, magnesium, and turmeric.
Correct. So zinc, sources of zinc, again, we're overlapping with broccoli, but asparagus, cashews, tofu, spinach, legumes, mushrooms, those are all sources of zinc, whole food sources, but you can supplement. If you're going to supplement 40 milligrams, 50 milligrams a day is good. Zinc is it's kind of a trace mineral and fulvic minerals. So just check the minerals that you're already taking and see the amount of zinc present there. You don't need to overdose on zinc. And I like whole food sources or plant-based supplements because if you take too much of it, it's going to come out in your urine. But zinc is important for regulating the body, boosting the immune system, improving memory. It helps with pregnancy. So when you look at prenatal vitamins, it always has good levels of zinc in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it helps with inflammatory processes. Another one is calcium. Really important right now. Prevents cardiovascular problems and it supports cardiovascular problems. It helps with weight. It helps with your bones, with de-stressing. When you take it with magnesium, it helps to absorb it with the magnesium into your bones and throughout your body. It prevents osteoporosis. It helps with kidneys functions. And there's loads of plant foods that are calcium rich. So look that one up. Magnesium. Magnesium is one of my favorite supplements of all time. I had said before in that talk you listened to, if I could take 3 things to an island with me, I would take probiotics, magnesium, and curcumin. And I did. I brought that with me. So those are really important.
And you're on an island.
Right. And I know myself. I know my own body. I know that I have a tendency to stress out by being overwhelmed, by taking on too many things because I'm super active and I want to help the world. Mm-hmm. So I know that magnesium helps me to relax and stay calm. I know probiotics are going to calm my mind, improve my sleep, help my immune system really function and fight the good fight. I expect it to every day. My soldiers are going to show up for me every day if I have really strong, good probiotics. So I brought that with me. And the curcumin is going to go after the pathogens, whatever I may be exposed to out here, even though there aren't any cases nearby me. If I were to be exposed, because again, it's asymptomatic for 10 days, if I were to be exposed, I would take copious amounts of curcumin. And there's a plethora of opportunity for me to go to herb shops here in the kitchen here where I'm staying. I already gave them a bunch of medicines that I brought and they know how to prepare them. I chatted with the chef and it's all on deck. So
beautiful.
Again, in this quarantine, what I want to remind everybody is patient, heal thyself. You cannot depend on the hospitals. If you are not critically ill, do not go to the hospitals. If you don't have access to your doctor,
they won't even talk to you.
All right. Well, that's the case right now. Apparently, there's some places.
They don't have the capacity. It's not that they don't want to. They just don't have the capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to get on some live. I've never done Instagram and Facebook Live, but I think I'm going to do that. I think that's like something I could really contribute is just open the line and say, if anybody has any questions, let me just give you some free advice.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Okay. So just to recap.
Magnesium.
We're saying sleep, good diet, probiotics, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, 40 grams. Okay. So vitamin D, you said about 4,000 or 5,000. Vitamin C, you said about 1,000.
Let me go back to vitamin D. Vitamin D, on average, 5,000 international units IU a day. But if you're dark skin like me, I would say 10,000 a day. I do 50,000 international units, 1 capsule a week. Mm-hmm. And my levels are perfect. If I showed you my blood work, my levels are perfect. Big reason why my levels are perfect is because I do focus on probiotics and take that every day. That is a sacred practice for me. And that helps to metabolize my nutrients better. So if your levels are low, focus on your digestion first. Mm-hmm. And then worry about the supplementation if your levels haven't leveled out.
Right. And zinc, we said 40 grams?
40 to 50 milligrams a day.
Milligrams, okay? Milligrams.
Yes.
Calcium, how much calcium and how much magnesium?
So it depends on the form and how you're taking it. So for me, I'm using Natural Calm. My favorite calcium formulation is by Garden of Life. It's called Grow Bone. And it's interesting because they had a guarantee, money back guarantee for 3 months. If you took their product, it's 2 bottles, One is an enzymatic formula, and it has all these different supplements in it that helps improve digestion. And then the evening formula is magnesium, vitamin D, and calcium. That one, they proved that if you take it for 3 months, it will increase your bone density. That's how
really
faithful they are in their product, and it really works. I've seen my patients. I've recommended it. I've seen their before and after bone density tests. It's awesome. We all do. We're all predisposed to osteopenia. If you're on pharmaceuticals, you are. If you're eating food, produce in America, you are, because we don't follow biodynamic farming principles. Our food is nutrient deficient.
Yes. And I don't remember the last time I exercised when I was 7 months pregnant. And I used to be lifting weights and really keeping my body in top shape. And now it's no, it's not that. No, it's not that.
So you know what I do? I always have a yoga mat with me. And I love this app called Down Dog. And Down Dog is an app for yoga that you can say avoid, because I have a fractured shoulder and elbow that I'm still healing. So I can avoid my shoulder. I can avoid my arm. I can set 5 minutes or a 2-hour practice.
Oh, that's so...
Whatever time frame I want. I can have with or without music. I can have a male or a female voice. I can have an accent or no accent. I can have a silent and just visualize, watch the person training me and not have any sound. So it's such a customizable app that works for so many people. I love that app, Down Dog. So I would suggest doing that, avoiding if you have lower back problems or neck problems, whatever it is. I get frustrated going into random yoga classes because I have to avoid or constantly adjust asanas to customize it for where I'm at right now with my body. But also Dulvet is a personal trainer. He's from The Biggest Loser, and he's a celebrity trainer. And he does right now with this quarantine thing, free workouts on his live feed on Instagram. So I would be tuning into there if I didn't have my private classes here.
That's so cool. Amazing.
It's great. There's lots of options. We're in an opportunity right now. It's like a way to reset and create the life you've always wanted to have. It seems like there are a lot of challenges, and there are, but there's a lot more opportunities than challenges, and we need to focus on those.
Wow. It was such a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you for having me, Orion.
I'm so grateful for all the mindset tips, and I'm so grateful for everything that you shared on this episode. I think we had a good intention, and I'm sure people will get so much out of this episode. I'm sure I hope so. Everybody that is listening is in agreement. And if you're listening and you like the show, then comment, leave us a review. You can leave Stellar Life Podcast a review on iTunes if this was helpful to you. And you can also email me. You can go on stellarlifepodcast.com and you can contact me there. Now, how can people contact you if somebody needs your probiotics, if somebody wants to consult with you, if somebody wants to follow you on social media or learn more about your practice? How can they connect with you?
Well, this is quite embarrassing. So I don't have a proper setup for that. I have my personal account on Instagram at Varshini, and it's really like literally my personal account. I mean, there's such silly things on there. It's not a medical account. There is a quantum clinic profile on Instagram. But, when it comes to clinical practice, I've been so blessed. We're so busy. We've always been 3 weeks to 3 months advance booked. I've never had to do marketing and branding. I actually am going to be picking your husband's brain about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Set it up. So info@quantum-clinic.com is a way to email. At Varshini for now, I guess. I'm on Facebook, Varshini.Soobiah. And that's it. I do have a Twitter account. I never log into Twitter because, I try to manage myself I will stay on there for hours and read anything Jon Stewart posts, anything that, I obsess over the scientists and the doctors that I follow. So I would just stay on there for hours and hours and eat a day or 5 from Twitter. So I stay off Twitter because I love it too much. That's about it for now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varshini. I really, really appreciate you.
My pleasure. And I just want to tell you, you and I had an intention in our discussion before we got on this podcast, and I think you nailed it. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you so much, listeners. Remember to make sure that you are setting your mindset for good. Have a vision board, plan for the future that you wanna have. Remember to sleep. Eat a good diet, avoid sugars, add probiotics to your diet, and vitamin D and vitamin C and zinc and calcium. And just be happy and healthy and connect with your loved ones and have a stellar life. This is Orion. Till next time. Thank you for joining me on my mission to light people up and change lives around the world. I hope today's conversation inspires you to step up, go after the life of your dreams, and be who you want to be. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go to stellarlifepodcast.com for show notes, transcripts, and other cool stuff. And please subscribe, review, and help spread the word by sharing us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch you on the next episode.